A lot has changed over the last 24 hours. So that being said, we've got to give you the latest news here. It was too much information to do a short, but just enough information to give you guys a bonus episode. Your second Locked On Browns. Cleveland Browns pregame show versus Baltimore Ravens starts now.
You are Locked On Browns, your daily Cleveland Browns podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends, your daily delivery of all things Dog Pound LGB on the LOB, the Locked On Browns podcast, brought to you by the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Your host, Jeff Lloyd, and I appreciate all of you who make Locked On Browns your first listen every single day. And join the everyday crowd, which just keeps getting bigger and bigger, by subscribing to the Locked On Browns YouTube channel. Of course, Locked On Browns is always available, always free, wherever you get your podcasts. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. We sat here yesterday. There was a lot of uncertainty, and certainly from the Baltimore Ravens side, certainly from the Cleveland Browns side. For Cleveland, it's a little bit more uncertainty with today's news. So here, we'll start off, obviously, your injury report ahead of Sunday's matchup, Cleveland Browns Stadium, as Baltimore travels in. Browns-Ravens, 1 o'clock on Sunday. Joe Bitonio, no injury designation. Obviously, Joe is on the pitch count, the rest count here. Joe Bitonio, good to go. Jerome Ford strung together 2 full practices, so he is a go. Limited for Kareem Hunt today, but Kareem Hunt, with no designation, will play on Sunday. James Hudson, 2 full practices in a row, so we expect him to return back to the active roster in his swing tackle role. Greg Newsome, same thing, 2 full straight practices. He will be ready to go as your nickel cornerback on Sunday. Deshaun Watson, limited all week. And to say limited is probably being a little kind. There was one shot from practice day where he fired one, apparently only threw a couple balls, spent most of his time watching, Dorian Thompson-Robinson. Deshaun Watson still with a dinged up shoulder. From Mary Kay Cabot, is believed to be a shoulder bruise. You believe it probably happened on that run on Sunday. Deshaun's got to be a little bit more cautious here. As far as trying to get down, I know he's always trying to make a play, but an injured Deshaun Watson is not the best version of Deshaun Watson for the Cleveland Browns. So we'll see where it's at. Can something change? Can something improve in 48 hours where he's ready to go Sunday? Again, Mary Kay Cabot said in her conversation with Deshaun Watson, he feels like he's going to be ready to go on Sunday. But we'll see. The Browns have always been, obviously cautious with injuries. So we'll see how that plays out. For the Browns, obviously, no Deshaun Watson is not a good thing. But looking over at this Baltimore Ravens injury report, this is not good by any means whatsoever. Rashad Bateman, Odell Beckham Jr. out of practice the entire week. Both players will be out and unavailable on Sunday for the Baltimore Ravens. Gus Edwards, there was the thought he got a concussion last week. He's practiced every single day, so obviously he is good to go on Sunday. Kyle Hamilton has a questionable designation, but he went from not practicing on Wednesday to limited on Thursday to a full practice on Friday. You have to believe the second-year star safety for the Baltimore Ravens will be able to go. Justice Hill, same path. No practice on Wednesday, limited on Thursday, full practice on Friday. So it looks like him and Gus Edwards will be toting the mail for the Ravens as far as their running backs. This is a big one for the Cleveland Browns. Marlon Humphrey, no practice all week. Marlon Humphrey officially out for Sunday against the Cleveland Browns. And we all know the thorn in the side, obviously, that Marlon Humphrey has been in his years with the Cleveland Browns. Tyler Linderbaum limited the entire week. An ankle for Tyler Linderbaum, that Baltimore Ravens center. He is listed as questionable for Sunday. So we'll see. Limited. We'll see. The Ravens are in a tough spot here. David Ajabo, ankle and knee, no practice the entire week. He will be out. Odafe Owahe, ankle for the Ravens. So this is their second and their third pass rusher. No practice the entire week. He is out as well. Ronnie Stanley, it was trending better. No practice on Wednesday. Limited on Wednesday, limited on Thursday, and now downgraded to a did not practice on Friday. That is not usually the way it wants to trend. He will carry a doubtful tag for Sunday against the Browns. And Marcus Williams, limited on Wednesday, 2 full practices together, listed as questionable. You got to think Marcus Williams will be ready to go for this game on Sunday. But you look at this from the Baltimore Ravens. 2 of their top 3 wide receivers are out. 2 of their top 3 pass rushers are out. Their top cornerback out. Their left tackle is carrying an injury designation of doubtful. This is a tough spot here for the Baltimore Ravens, obviously, as they come into this game 2-1. Of course, the Cleveland Browns 2-1 as well. The line on this game is dropped. It was at 2.5. I think the current betting odds are now Cleveland laying 1 point here. We'll see. I mean, obviously, Deshaun Watson is the key here. Browns ramping up, and look, Dorian Thompson-Robinson got a bunch of reps here this week in practice. So the Browns did feel that there was a possibility that it was going to possibly be without Deshaun Watson. Do they feel it's important enough to rest Deshaun Watson so he's going to almost get, he would have gotten all of this week, all of next week, and then maybe be ready to go, start practicing for the San Francisco 49ers? Or will the shoulder bruise heal up by then? No talk of an MRI, no talk of, going to see an orthopedic, any of those things as far as in regards to Deshaun Watson. He himself telling, of course, Mary Kay Cabot that he thinks he'll be able to go on Sunday. But injury-wise, even if the Browns were to go into this game and God forbid somehow, some way Deshaun Watson is ruled out or inactive and they go with Dorian Thompson-Robinson, you've got to really like the Cleveland Browns odds here. I mean, 2 of the top 3 wide receivers. The Ravens only roster 5 wide receivers. So that means, they're going to be bringing up somebody from the practice squad. Without Ronnie Stanley, possibility without Linderbaum. I mean, 2 more starters on your offensive line. That would be treacherous. Marlon Humphrey, we all know what Marlon Humphrey has done to the Cleveland Browns franchise. So you look at that, and obviously very, very, very favorable for your Cleveland Browns. Deshaun, look, this is a tough spot here, and I'm sure every ounce of him wants to get back on that field as well as he played last Sunday. As much as the fans and the chatter, the negative chatter as far as Deshaun Watson is taking a back seat. He played really, really well, and I think everybody really wants to, have Deshaun get back out there. Of course, there is that part of this Cleveland Browns fan base that always exists, where they are always infatuated, always in love with the backup quarterback. And I'm not giving Dorian Thompson-Robinson a hard time here, but this team made a massive, massive investment in Deshaun Watson. They finally got him playing to the levels that they want him to play at. They expect him to play at. Having Deshaun ready to go on Sunday in a game where the Ravens are coming in basically limping and wounded, you think it's ripe for the taking opportunity. Not that I don't have faith in DTR, but a big game like this, obviously, and the Ravens are still the Ravens, man. They're a difficult team. They're a difficult matchup for this Cleveland Browns team, but you'd like to go out this with your number 1 guy. So we'll see the way it trends over the weekend. Obviously we get no new injury designations, so most of this is going to come down to what we hear at 11:30 on Sunday as far as who's in, who's out, as far as active and inactives. So a lot going on here for the Browns Ravens as far as injuries and this big matchup Sunday at 1:00. We're going to switch it up here, talk a little bit more about the revised possible game plan here the Cleveland Browns are going to have to face on the offensive side of the ball. Jeff Lloyd, your latest Locked On Browns. If you guys are like me and, you're old, you're married, you have older kids, what's the biggest issue you got with teenagers? For some reason, they are always and forever hungry. Well, one of the best parts about that is having apps like DoorDash. You've trusted DoorDash to deliver your restaurant favorites, and now you can get grocery delivery that actually delivers too. With thousands of grocery stores to choose from, you'll find the best in your neighborhood and boost your local economy with each and every order. You'll get exactly what you ordered, or we'll make it right. So sit back and enjoy quality groceries just like you picked them for yourself. Want even more value? You can save on all your grocery and restaurant favorites with a $0 delivery fee on all eligible orders with a Dash Pass membership. With easy substitutions right in the app and best-in-class customer support, DoorDash delivers groceries exactly how you want it. Get my 50% off your first DoorDash order up to a $20 value when you use the code LOCKEDONNFL at checkout. Limited time offer. Terms apply. That's 50% off to $20, no minimum subtotal, and 0 delivery fees on your first order when you download the DoorDash app in the App Store and enter the code LOCKEDONNFL. Don't forget, that's LOCKEDONNFL for 50% off your first order with DoorDash. Trying to buy tickets late, you never know who you can trust. You never know if the seats are actually going to be where they say they are. But guess what? There's a place where you can go and you don't have to worry about those type of things. You shouldn't have to worry when you are buying tickets to your next big event. Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater events near you. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their best price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. What you can do, you go to the Game Time app. They offer amazing deals on last-minute tickets, flash deals even, zone deals even. Easy to find and buy tickets for every kind of event in your area. You get views from all seats in the venue, lowest price guarantee, event cancellation protection, job loss protection. I mean, are you kidding me? Nobody else does that. See the view from your seat before you buy so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. All-in prices show your total upfront so you know you're getting a great deal without hidden fees. You buy tickets in seconds with 2 taps and you're good to go. Game Time has deals on tickets right up to the start of the event and even an hour after it starts. So if you're not interested in the open act, that's fine. The headliner, they got you covered. It's the place to find last-minute deals. Find exclusive flash deals and sponsored deals on tickets for football, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. With zone deals, you pick the section and Game Time picks the seats for an average of 18% savings. And the Game Time guarantee means you'll always get the best price. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Jeff Lloyd, your latest Locked On Browns, and obviously we gave you a pregame show yesterday. So much change here in the last 24 hours. I felt like I would not have been doing my job if I didn't get back on here and at least give you the latest information here. Appreciate everybody who makes Locked On Browns their first listen every single day. To the everyday crowd, which just keeps on growing, you guys mean the world to me. Join the everyday crowd by subscribing to Locked On Browns YouTube channel. And of course, Locked On Browns is always available, always free, wherever you get your podcasts. Now, there was a time, and it was probably a couple of months ago, obviously. And when we started to get to see Dorian Thompson-Robinson play over the summer, and I was one of the ones that chirping that if it came down to it, and it wasn't going to be, an opportunity where you're going to see Deshaun Watson, I was ready to go with DTR. You guys know this. And all the credit in the world to Josh Dobbs. He's doing a really solid job right now for the Arizona Cardinals, and all the credit to him. But the Browns drafted Dorian Thompson-Robinson, obviously for a reason. I think they viewed him. They watched his tape. They got to know him. And the thing they felt about Dorian Thompson-Robinson was he was an exact replica of what could be Deshaun Watson. I've had Pete Smith on the show for years, and we always talk about you try to make your quarterback room similar. You don't want to have to go through a massive change, a massive, taking things out of your offense because you may have to play your backup quarterback. Dorian Thompson-Robinson last year at UCLA, almost 70% completion rate, 3,200 yards in the air, 21 touchdowns, chipped in 650 yards on the ground, another 12 touchdowns on the ground. Dorian Thompson-Robinson was a really, really solid player, and he should not have been drafted where the Cleveland Browns got him. He's a player that should have been much, much higher. The Browns did their due diligence. If you remember, he was one of their visits. Browns met a bunch with a lot of the rookie quarterbacks last year. Obviously, they had the mindset, the hope, obviously, to bring in a rookie quarterback to at least be here and be Deshaun Watson's understudy for 3 to 4 seasons. Got a phone call out of the blue from the Arizona Cardinals. They wanted Josh Dobbs. They wanted Josh Dobbs to play. They wanted him to start immediately for their franchise. Browns got blew away with an offer they were never expected to get, and they were confident with what DTR had done over the summer. 37 of 58, 63, almost 64% completion percentage, threw for over 440 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interception. He was one of the bright spots of the Cleveland Browns over the summer, he and DeJuan Jones. And it will be odd if this does happen because, the Cleveland Browns, the first 2 rookies of the 2023 class to start would be your 4th-round pick, DeJuan Jones, and your 5th-round pick, Dorian Thompson-Robinson. So that is a crazy, crazy possibility that could happen for the Cleveland Browns here on Sunday against the Baltimore Ravens. We don't know what this new version is of the Cleveland Browns offense post Nick Chubb. And obviously big thoughts, prayers. Obviously Nick Chubb going under surgery today. Haven't got any word about, it being over or what exactly they had to do to Nick's knee to repair it. So, that is still a storyline that's going to come out somewhere either late Friday or Saturday in regards to Nick Chubb. But we're not really sure where this team is going to transition to as far as, incorporating the running back room they have. Jerome Ford, of course, Kareem Hunt, of course. Again, guys, I still think there's a role here for Pierre Strong. I just think he's got that one skill trait that neither of these other two have, and that's elite speed. And, the Browns, we know their fascination with speed. They know how much they want to get it incorporated. There's a role here for Pierre Strong, and we'll see when it's going to come, but it's going to come sometime soon. A lot of questions would be as far as, if it is DTR, doesn't have a huge relationship with Amari Cooper as far as a working relationship. Donovan Peoples-Jones, same thing. Elijah Moore, the same thing. A lot of the guys that, Dorian Thompson-Robinson worked with over the summer, one's a practice squad guy, obviously had a good relationship with Tillman. How does this incorporate with him going to basically now the A-listers? All summer long, he played with the B-listers and he played with the C-listers. There's a possibility here where he takes this jump, did get his first official NFL snaps under his belt last week. Things that we're not expecting. The Cleveland Browns, we don't expect the backup quarterback to play in a win. We usually expect the backup quarterback to play in a loss. But either way, DTR did get his first, snaps, under his belt. So that part, the newness isn't going to be there. There is also the huge factor that if he does end up starting this game, it will be in the friendly confines of Cleveland as opposed to going on the road to Baltimore. He will be facing a Baltimore Ravens defense that will be out without their top cornerback in Marlon Humphrey. He will be facing a Baltimore Ravens pass rush that is without their number 2 and their number 3 edge rushers in Ojabo and Owe. So it's there. But what do you do in this situation? Were the Browns possibly preparing for this? Were they, did they have the understanding of this? Because, DTR, yes, he knows the playbook. But the last thing you want to do is, with a rookie in this situation, it could be possibly making his first career start, is just have too much. You don't want the kid to overthink, just read, react, play. And, DTR with his legs, it was a huge advantage over the summer. Obviously, know what Deshaun Watson has been able to do with his legs for this team. So DTR can defend himself. He can run, and he can run well, and he can run efficiently. He did, have a nice relationship with the tight ends over the summer. We've been talking about trying to get David Njoku going. So maybe this is something where if DTR does start, maybe go with the tight ends. He tried to make the rollouts, the friendly throws. One thing if we all remember over the summer about DTR, in addition to throwing the ball well, in addition to running the ball well, he showed a real savvy for a rookie quarterback to not just be standing there, not just carry out a play fake, but being able to have the ability to contribute as a blocker and get your nose dirty and try to free up a spot for your guy. We saw it all the way back in week 1 of the Hall of Fame game when he freed up to Demetric Felton for a touchdown. So, we still don't know. And, is this more where the Browns are resting it and they truly think this bruise is not going to be an issue come Sunday? That is 100% possible. But when your starting quarterback comes out, throws one soft toss on Friday, tries to let one rip, and then spends the rest of the practice, basically trying to get mental reps, but standing there talking with the trainer, it does give you some pause and hesitation on whether or not this player is truly going to be available for this team on Sunday. If not, I think DTR will be ready to go. I'm not going to expect him to light the world on fire necessarily. I don't think the Browns necessarily need him to light the world on fire. Just again, same thing that we always say when we do these shows late in the week: play smart, no penalties. Don't turn the ball over, but the opportunity could be there when the Browns are going to be led Sunday by Dorian Thompson-Robinson and the young man out of UCLA who had a great career for Chip Kelly. He'll be more than ready for the task. We're going to switch it up here. We're going to talk a little about, now that it's official, what we can expect from the Ravens offense here on Sunday against the Cleveland Browns defense. Jeff Lloyd, your latest Locked On Browns. Stick along for the rest of the ride. Our partners at eBay Motors have teamed up with Locked On Fantasy Football host Vinny Iyer to bring you some of the best fantasy picks each week, all season long. Whether you're prepping for a daily draft or scouting the waiver wire, every week we're going to provide players that are guaranteed to fit on your roster. So let's see who Vinny has picked out for us on this week's eBay Guaranteed Fit fantasy players of the week. Broncos running back Javonte Williams has gotten a healthy 48 opportunities in the first 3 games, but so far he's managed only 180 scrimmage yards and 0 touchdown during the team's 0-3 start. Expect the volume to finally convert into true fantasy production for Williams as Denver gets the wilting Bears defense in Chicago in week 4. The Bears have given up plenty of overall yardage and scoring juice to backs through the first 3 weeks. And Williams will be the latest to take advantage as a runner and outlet receiver. Vinny Iyer from Locked On Fantasy Football is going to help you win your fantasy championship. And eBay Motors knows a championship team is about each player being a perfect fit. Same with your vehicle. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you can make sure your ride stays running smoothly. Brake kits, LED headlights, roof rack, bumpers, whatever your baby needs, eBay Motors has it. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, it's guaranteed to fit your ride the first time, every time, or your money back. Plus, at these prices, you're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. eBay Guaranteed Fit, only available to U.S. customers. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. Jeff Lloyd, your new pregame show for week 4 here. Cleveland Browns, Baltimore Ravens, Sunday, 1 o'clock. I appreciate all of you who make Locked On Browns your first listen every single day. Of course, the everyday crowd just keeps on getting bigger and bigger. And join the everyday crowd, my friends. You won't be disappointed by subscribing to Locked On Browns YouTube channel. And of course, the show is always available, always free, wherever you get your podcasts. If you're late getting to the TV, late getting to the bar to meet your buddies, or you're stuck at work, make sure you guys go to SiriusXM, Google Cleveland Browns, and you will not miss a minute of the action. All the audio you need will be right there for you on SiriusXM. Now, we had talked, and obviously a bunch of the storyline had been over the offseason and what the Baltimore Ravens were doing as they made this transition of the offense, bringing in Todd Monken, trying to find a way to save Lamar's legs, hopefully get full seasons out of Lamar by having Lamar play more traditional quarterback. Is something Lamar Jackson excelled at the University of Louisville. It's obviously how he ended up winning a Heisman Trophy at Louisville. So you made the moves. You brought in Odell Beckham Jr., you drafted Zay Flowers, but now here you are in this weird spot. We could be without your left tackle, possibly without your center, without 2 of your top 3 wide receivers. Beckham will be out. Rashad Bateman will be out. Zay Flowers is a fantastic player. I think all the world is Zay Flowers coming out of Boston College, but the Browns have all 3 cornerbacks, which means you're getting after that Devin Duvernay, obviously, and Nelson Aguilar as wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 for the Baltimore Ravens. Nelson Aguilar has had a pretty decent season in his first year with Baltimore, so kudos to him. But this Browns secondary has been absolutely lights out. The thought and the theory of no Ronnie Stanley or possibly Tyler Linderbaum, and even if the guys play, these guys, look, you watch the tape, and everybody knows and understands and sees the improvement with the Cleveland Browns defensive line. But until you get out there, because I'm going to tell you right now, I think the Cincinnati Bengals said, okay, well, they look good. Well, let's see what it's like to actually play them. Pittsburgh Steelers, same thing. Tennessee Titans, same thing. So for the Baltimore Ravens, yeah, they probably highly respect what this Cleveland Browns defensive line is doing, but they probably think, hey, our guys are better. Our guys are good. We can coach through this. Well, we'll see. The proof will be in the pudding Sunday. Obviously you already have Roquan Smith chirping out a little bit here, talking about coming into this, team, and I'm sure the Browns are motivated. I think the Cleveland Browns are riding this right now. I think they love when other teams are talking about them, maybe thinking that the Browns aren't as good as they are. And look, they are 2-1 right now. 3-1 would maybe cement it a little bit further. This is a big, big victory to get. They've struggled with this franchise, even though that Baltimore and Cleveland have split over the last 2 seasons. Baltimore won both games in Baltimore. Cleveland won both games in Cleveland. But, you go to what has always been a difficult thing for the Cleveland Browns to handle on the defensive side of the ball. It's been Lamar Jackson, it's been Mark Andrews. But now there is a deeper tight end room in Baltimore. Obviously, Isaiah Likely also there, Charlie Kolar also there. So it's kind of a little bit of a small ball version here. But Lamar Jackson, it might be a tight end heavy featured group. And the Browns, look, to this point this season, they have not faced a lot from the tight end position. Cincinnati doesn't run a ton of it. Pittsburgh, Freiermuth had a little bit of success, but they didn't use him a lot. Tennessee didn't really get much done passing the ball either. But, this could be a heavy game of Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews, Likely, and Kolar, and running backs, of course, Gus Edwards and Justice Hill. Is it enough? Not in my opinion. It's not enough for the way the Cleveland Browns defense is playing to this point. This group has been on point. It's been outstanding. It's been attacking. It's been vicious. It's been tenacious. This is the way this Browns defense has been to this season. I don't think it's going to let up anytime soon. But the other thing is this is not necessarily the new Ravens offense. Without these wide receivers and having to go to wide receiver 4 and wide receiver 5, guys that you don't have as much confidence in, does it go back to the old Lamar where, hey, and Lamar knows in the back of his head, this is great. And I have no problem playing from the pocket. But if we're not able to succeed like this, I know I've won a lot of ball games against Cleveland Browns, a lot of ball games against everybody else in the NFL with my legs. I'm a former league MVP. I can do it all if I have to. So the Browns are going to have to be cautious, certainly going to have to keep some eyes, whether or not they spy him truly or just they have guys, waiting as far as in off coverage, waiting for Lamar to break it. Even with all these factors, possibly Grant Delpit, JOK, chasing after a player like Lamar Jackson all day, even if DTR has to play, the Cleveland Browns are the more better team. They are the more talented team. They are the deeper team, and they certainly have a much better defense. The Ravens are a lot more injured than the Cleveland Browns are. Cleveland Browns should still win this game, go to 3-1, and head on off to the bye week. I am Jeff Lloyd, your host here at Locked On Browns. I appreciate all of you for making Locked On Browns your first listen. Join the Everyday Crowd by subscribing to Locked On Browns YouTube channel. Of course, the show is always available, always free, wherever you get your podcasts. If you're late getting to the TV on Sunday, go to SiriusXM. Of course, you can get all your Cleveland Browns coverage there just by searching Cleveland Browns, and you will be taken care of. This has been your daily delivery of all things Dog Pound. LGB on ELOB. Let's go, Browns.